Hello and welcome to Storytime with Mr. Ryan. On October 2nd, we celebrate the birthday of Mohandas Gandhi, an Indian political leader who used non-violent resistance and rebellion in order to achieve Indian independence. Through his policies of non-violence and love, Gandhi is a powerful and exemplary role model for leaders. And I believe we can learn a lot from studying the life of Mohandas Gandhi. So today we read the Time for Kids biography, Mohandas Gandhi, by Dona and William Rice. Let's hop on in. Along the west coast of India, by the Arabian Sea, there is a small town called Porbandar. On October 2nd, 1869, a baby boy was born there. He was named Mohandas Gandhi. Mohandas' family was good and honorable. They lived a strict Hindu life. Mohandas' father and grandfather each served as a government advisor called a Dewan in Porbandar. This helped Mohandas to see the importance of public service. His mother was very gentle and devout. This helped to form the way Mohandas saw the world. Mohandas went to elementary school in Porbandar. Learning was difficult for him. Though he was kind and courteous and tried hard, he was labeled a poor student. When Mohandas was 7, his family moved to another city. His father became a Dewan there as well. Mohandas' trouble with school continued. He was very timid and shy, and that made things even more challenging. But Mohandas kept trying. Mohandas did not like to see anyone suffer. He was especially bothered by the caste system in India. The caste system said that people were born into different classes, and they should remain there all their lives. A person from one class should not have anything to do with someone from a lower class. Mohandas' family was in the middle class. But Mohandas had a friend who belonged to a lower class known as untouchable. Hindus then believed that having anything to do with an untouchable would pollute their souls. Mohandas' mother forbade him to play with his friend. Mohandas did not want to disobey his mother, but he knew it was wrong to shun his friend. He played with him in secret, and he promised himself one day to work on equality for all Indians. Although Mohandas was a good person, he did not always make the best choices when he was young. For a while, he became friends with some young people who often got into trouble. With them, he smoked, stole, and ate meat, which was not allowed in his religion. Mohandas felt terrible about the things he had done. He decided to tell his father everything, apologize, and ask for a punishment. He even asked his father not to blame himself as the parent of a boy who would do such things. Mohandas' father gave him complete love and forgiveness. Mohandas said later that his father's forgiveness made a big difference in his life. When Mohandas was only 13, he married a 13-year-old girl named Caste. It was the custom in India for people to marry very young. Years later, Mohandas wrote that because of their ages, the wedding meant no more than wearing new clothes, eating sweets, and playing with relatives. It took time for the marriage to become the kind that adults have. At the time that Mohandas was born, Britain ruled India. This meant that Indian people, like his father and grandfather, could give advice, but the British leaders made the rules. The British people got special treatment, and the Indian people had to pay taxes to Britain. Mohandas always thought this was wrong. In 1885, Mohandas' father died. Mohandas thought he should try to continue his father's work. Maybe he could make a difference. To begin, Mohandas decided to become a lawyer. He would need to go to England to study. On September 4th, 1888, he set sail for England. When Mohandas arrived in England, he tried very hard to fit in. He bought English clothes and took speaking lessons. He ate English food, but it was tasteless to him. He even took ballroom dancing lessons. For a long time, Mohandas tried to change himself to be an English gentleman. It was very hard, and he was unhappy. But he finally realized something important. It didn't matter how other people thought of him. It mattered only how he thought of himself. When Mohandas realized that, he stopped trying to be something he wasn't. After several years of studying, Mohandas became a lawyer in 1891. Afterwards, he went home to India. Back in India, Mohandas practiced law for 2 years. Then, a company that wanted his help with a lawsuit in South Africa contacted him. He decided to go. Mohandas left his family and sailed for South Africa for what he thought would be a short time. Once there, he saw terrible unfairness towards people with dark skin. For example, there were laws in some areas that said people like Mohandas could not vote, walk on the pavement, or own land. Mohandas began to organize the Indians in South Africa. He showed them how to join together to change the laws. After 3 years, Mohandas finally returned to India. He told the South Africans that if they needed him, he would come back to help. After just 6 months, they asked him back, and he returned with his family. He continued to support and lead the people there for nearly 20 more years. In South Africa, Mohandas began to change the way he lived. He got rid of many of his belongings. He used only what he needed and lived very simply. He washed his own clothes and cut his own hair. He lived a life of service. On September 11, 1906, Mohandas spoke at a large meeting. He told the people about Satyagraha. Satyagraha is a Hindi word that means non-violent resistance. He wanted the people to join him in the non-violent resistance of unfair laws. It was this non-violent resistance that made Gandhi well known around the world and helped him accomplish the changes he wished to make. Because of his work, Mohandas was often jailed. But in 1914, many of the worst laws were changed. Mohandas had led the people to victory. In 1915, Mohandas and his family finally returned to India. Mohandas started building centers for people to learn his way of life and serve their communities. He also gathered support for Satyagraha. The people of India were still under British rule. Many of the British laws were unfair to the Indians. Mohandas taught the people Satyagraha to change what was unfair. They worked on one cause after another. In 1919, new laws took away more freedoms across all of India. When Mohandas, now called Mahatma, began to work against the laws, he captured the attention of everyone in India and much of the world. Now, the people of India were working for their country's independence. There were many important events during Mohandas's years in India. One of the best remembered is the Salt March of 1930. Britain charged the Indians a tax on salt, and only the British were allowed to make the salt. So, Mohandas led a large group of people on a 165-mile march to the Arabian Sea. There, they made salt by evaporating seawater. Mohandas continued his work, even though he was often jailed and threatened. But in 1947, he proved how powerful Satyagraha was. After 200 years of British rule, India became a free country. Because of his work, Mohandas had many fans, but he also had enemies who objected to his love of all people. On January 30th, 1948, Mohandas was leading a prayer meeting. An angry Hindu man who still believed in the caste system shot and killed Mohandas. People around the world mourned his death. They could not believe that such a great leader who lived so peacefully had died so violently. My life is my message. That is what Mohandas Gandhi once said. He believed that everything he did could make a difference, and he wanted to change things for the better. In India and around the world, millions of people believe he did. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this wonderful little picture book biography about Mohandas Gandhi. What a truly inspirational and peaceful leader, somebody who leads the fight against oppression and unfairness. I encourage you guys to take a look at this timeline of events crucial to the life of Gandhi. And if you didn't recognize any of the terms, I know we learned some new ones, particularly some Indian words that you may not recognize. Please feel free to have a look at the glossary here as well, and you can feel free to pause the video and peruse at your own free will. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Mr. Ryan. I had a lot of fun reading this story with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed reading along. Please feel free to check out some of my other stories on this channel, and if you're looking for fun activities you can do from home, go ahead and check out veronalibrary.org/children. Until next time, I'll be seeing you. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.